Tonight, the breaking news as we come on the air, a gunman opening fire on a U.S. Army base. Multiple soldiers shot and wounded. Soldiers running for cover as gunfire erupts at Fort Stewart. Military officials say an active duty sergeant armed with his personal handgun opening fire. 5 soldiers shot and wounded. The dangerous air tonight, millions of Americans from the Midwest to the Northeast, New York City and Chicago reaching alarming numbers when it comes to air quality. And the tropics tonight with hurricane season nearing, we're now watching 2 systems in the Atlantic. Lee Goldberg is here. Also breaking just days after Ghislaine Maxwell was transferred from a federal prison in Florida to a prison camp in Texas with more favorable conditions. Tonight we have new reporting here, what's happening at that prison. Tonight, President Trump just a short time ago saying he and Vladimir Putin could soon meet. So what does this mean for the war in Ukraine? Martha Raddatz standing by. Tonight, authorities arresting a woman accused of posing as a registered nurse, allegedly treating more than 4,400 patients. Tonight, the daring rescue mission in Antarctica to get to a U.S. facility. Staff in need of medical care there, landing in near total darkness and on a runway made of ice. Tonight, a chilling arrest at the airport in West Palm Beach, Florida. Deputies arresting a man allegedly finding a loaded AR-15 style rifle in his rental car. Tonight here, news on Brad Pitt's mother, often seen by his side on the red carpet through the years. Tonight, the family paying tribute and what they're saying about his mother, Jane. A major league milestone tonight, the league's first female umpire about to take the field for a regular season game. Also, the blockbuster deal between ESPN and the NFL, remembering a well-known actress known for her role on The Walking Dead, and the evacuations after discovering a World War II bomb.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening, and we begin tonight with the breaking news. A gunman opening fire at Fort Stewart, Georgia. The sprawling Army base placed on lockdown, soldiers running for cover. 5 soldiers shot and wounded by one of their own. The shots fired at Fort Stewart just before 11 o'clock this morning. Authorities still on the scene tonight. Soldiers seen running, the base commander ordering a lockdown, informing the base that there were casualties. Law enforcement responding, 5 soldiers shot, all 5 hospitalized. 2 taken by ambulance with a police escort to a level 1 trauma center in Savannah, about an hour away. Army officials say the suspect, a 28-year-old Army sergeant, used his personal handgun, opening fire on his co-workers. And tonight, authorities now say other co-workers wrestled him down. Tonight, what we're now learning about a recent arrest and real questions now about how he got his personal weapon on that base. ABC's Faith Abube leading us off at Fort Stewart tonight.
This is the moment. Posted on TikTok, soldiers at Fort Stewart Army Base in Georgia running for safety after gunfire erupted.
Yeah, the active shooter on Fort Stewart.
Army officials say 28-year-old Sergeant Cornelius Radford opened fire at his logistics job using his non-military personal handgun, wounding 5 soldiers, his co-workers.
We got multiple shooting calls coming on.
Law enforcement racing to the scene. The base swiftly put on lockdown.
Also advising 1 shooter is in custody.
Army officials say it was the suspect's brave co-workers who stopped him.
But I know that his soldiers in the area that witnessed the shooting immediately and without hesitation tackled the soldiers, subdued him, that allowed law enforcement to then take him into custody. These soldiers, without a doubt, prevented further casualties.
Ambulances rushing the wounded to hospitals. 3 soldiers needed surgery, but officials say all 5 victims are in stable condition and expected to recover. Tonight, military officials say they just learned Radford was recently arrested for DUI off the base, but his chain of command wasn't aware, and investigators want to know how he was able to get a personal weapon onto the base.
We're going to have to determine how he was able to get a handgun to his place of duty.
Tonight, President Trump promising to prosecute the shooter to the fullest extent of the law.
The entire nation is praying for the victims and their families, and hopefully they'll fully recover.
And David, Army investigators continue to question that suspect, trying to uncover a motive. They say he had no disciplinary record with the military, and tonight he remains in pretrial confinement. David.
Faith Abube there at Fort Stewart for us. Faith, thank you. Now to the dangerous air. The alerts for millions of Americans from the Midwest to the Northeast at this hour. The air quality in New York City among the worst cities in the world when it comes to air quality today. And tonight, with the height of hurricane season now nearing, we're watching two tropical systems now brewing in the Atlantic. So Lee Goldberg is here at ABC's Mola Lenghi with the images tonight.
Tonight, stubborn, smoky skies from the Northwest to the Great Lakes to the Midwest. Chicago's air quality this morning just behind New York City's for the worst major cities in America. The air quality index in parts of New York City this morning clocking in over 100, and anything over 100 is considered dangerous for people with difficulty breathing, like asthma or COPD. The drifting smoke, packed with fine particles from hundreds of Canadian wildfires, is toxic, even more so than cigarette smoke. Experts say, depending on the amount of time exposed, when air quality levels hit the 100 to 200 range on the scale, it can be comparable to smoking up to 7 cigarettes, nearly half a pack a day. In the West, evacuation orders expanding on the Gifford fire north of Santa Barbara. A massive cloud of smoke visible from approaching aircraft. That fire and the Rosa fire in Riverside County still out of control tonight.
There are still air quality alerts for at least 8 states tonight. And as long as those fires keep raging in Canada, the problems are only expected to continue, David.
Mola Lenghi with us from D.C. Mola, thank you. Let's get right to Chief Meteorologist Lee Goldberg from WABC here in New York. Hi, Lee.
Hi, David. Light rain right now in New York helping to clean out the air a little bit. Just need the sunshine back. We'll get that tomorrow. Meanwhile, we still have air alerts, air quality alerts from the Great Lakes, Chicago, all the way into New England, Buffalo, Syracuse, Pittsfield. Now, tomorrow, high pressures along the New England coast. It shoves that smoke inland. So the worst air along I-90 from Buffalo to Albany, then up to Watertown into Burlington. Even better, though, conditions on Friday. Fire danger, also smoke out in the southwest. We've got red flag warnings from Nevada up to Wyoming. Extreme heat in the desert Southwest. We broke a record in Phoenix today. It's wet in the east in places like Virginia, North Carolina. We have active flash flood warnings, several inches of rain there. It continues. Offshore, low pressure off the southeast coast only has a small chance for development, a little bit more disorganized, a higher chance for development with that storm over the eastern Atlantic. Either one could become errant, but it stays offshore, just might kick up the rip currents as we go through next week. David, the tropics definitely coming alive.
Lee Goldberg back with us tonight. Lee, thanks as always. Now to the breaking headline in the Jeffrey Epstein case tonight. His convicted co-conspirator Ghislaine Maxwell, who recently met with the Justice Department and has now been transferred from a federal prison in Florida to a prison camp in Texas with more favorable conditions. Well, there's news tonight involving new steps being taken at that prison. Here's Aaron Katursky.
Tonight, less than a week after Ghislaine Maxwell's arrival at a minimum security women's prison camp in Texas, sources tell ABC News security at that facility is increasing. The sources said the Bureau of Prisons is now positioning specially trained, heavily armed correction officers at the entrance. It's an unusual move at an open-air camp with fewer guards and minimal fencing. The sources said the change came in response to Maxwell's presence, though it's not clear she has received any threats since her arrival. Maxwell was transferred to the camp in Bryan, Texas, where Theranos founder Elizabeth Holmes is also an inmate. Just this week, Holmes was spotted running and lifting weights in the yard. Maxwell was moved there a week after her 2-day meeting with Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche. Sources told ABC News Maxwell said nothing harmful about President Trump's interactions with Jeffrey Epstein. Tonight, Trump said he had not been briefed on what the two discussed.
Mr. President, have you been briefed on what Ghislaine Maxwell told Todd Blanche?
No, I haven't. Have not.
Tonight, David, sources tell us the Justice Department is considering whether to release a written transcript or an audio recording of Maxwell's 9-hour interview. David?
Aaron Katursky on this case again tonight. Aaron, thank you. There is breaking news involving President Trump and Vladimir Putin tonight, with President Trump threatening to hit Russia with severe new sanctions this Friday if Russia doesn't end its war with Ukraine. Well, President Trump late today said it is possible now he will soon meet with Vladimir Putin. So let's get right to Martha Raddatz. Martha, what have you learned tonight?
David, there's no time or place set for any meeting, but tonight President Trump saying there is a good prospect that there could be a summit with Vladimir Putin and Ukraine's President Zelensky. This follows a face-to-face meeting today between Putin and Trump's special envoy Steve Witkoff in Moscow. A White House official telling ABC that Witkoff told President Trump that Putin would like to meet with him, which President Trump said he is open to, if, and this is a very big if, Putin also meets with Zelensky. So while he sounded optimistic, even President Trump said he would not call this a breakthrough. And of course, David, this comes with those new U.S. sanctions looming against Russia. David?
Yes, we'll be watching for that late this week. Martha, thank you. Next tonight, police in Florida arresting a woman accused of posing as a registered nurse, allegedly treating more than 4,400 patients without a license. Tonight, hear the police video of her arrest showing she was still wearing medical scrubs and what she said as they arrested her. Victor Akendo from Florida Tonight.
Tonight, a North Florida woman is under arrest.
Can you step out of the car for me, please?
Accused of posing as a licensed nurse and providing care to thousands of unsuspecting patients without a valid nursing license.
Am I being arrested? You are.
That woman, 29-year-old Autumn Bardisa, taken into custody Tuesday. Body camera video showing her still wearing medical scrubs. Authorities claim Bardisa used a nursing license number that belonged to someone else and treated more than 4,400 patients from June 2024 to January 2025 while working as an advanced nurse technician at Advent Health Palm Coast Parkway. That position typically involves drawing blood, administering medications, and even starting IVs. Officials say during Bardisa's hiring process, she provided a license number that matched her first name but not her last name. When the hospital asked Bardisa about the discrepancy, an affidavit says Bardisa claimed she had recently gotten married and had a new last name. When she was asked to provide a marriage certificate, Bardisa did not.
Fortunately, to our knowledge anyways, nobody was seriously hurt or injured.
The alleged ruse was discovered this January after Bardisa was offered a promotion and allegedly could not verify her identity, prompting a 7-month investigation by the hospital. David, Bardisa faces multiple charges, and tonight authorities say that after she was fired, she got her nursing license and was working at another facility. David?
Victor Kendo with us here tonight. Victor, thank you. We turn next this evening to the daring and high-risk medical evacuation of 3 people from an American research station in Antarctica. New Zealand's Air Force to the rescue, landing in near total darkness and on a runway made of ice. Here's Matt Gupman.
Overnight, that high-risk medevac in the extreme Antarctic winter. 3 people evacuated from the U.S. McMurdo station. The Royal New Zealand Air Force carrying out the operation, stating the evacuation was requested by the United States National Science Foundation after several staffers were, quote, unable to receive the medical care they needed in Antarctica. The C-130 aircraft landing on a runway made of ice, surrounded by the Arctic night, the crew using night vision goggles, temperatures reaching negative 21 degrees. The mission was described as one of the most technically demanding operations an air crew can face, according to the U.S. Embassy. On the flight, New Zealand Defense Force medical personnel, including a doctor, all caring for one person who required urgent medical care and 2 others needing medical attention. The patients were evacuated safely to Christchurch, New Zealand, where they are now getting medical treatment. It took nearly 20 hours to complete this medical evacuation. And David, these operations are rare. The last time the Royal New Zealand Air Force conducted one of these missions was back in 2021 and 2024. David.
It was a remarkable mission. Matt Gupman tonight. Matt, thank you. Tonight, President Trump's new tariffs on dozens of U.S. trading partners are now set to kick in at midnight tonight. And this evening, there's already news from the president. New tariffs on all chips coming into the U.S. So what will this mean for the cost of electronics here in America? And late today, Apple CEO Tim Cook at the White House announcing a major investment in U.S. manufacturing. So here's Mary Bruce.
Tonight, side by side with Apple CEO Tim Cook in the Oval Office, President Trump touting the tech giant's pledge to invest an additional $100 billion in U.S. manufacturing, on top of the $500 billion announced in February.
They're coming home.
Apple saying it will use glass made in Kentucky on iPhones and Apple Watches, but the company stopping short of giving Trump what he's been demanding, that the iPhone be fully produced in the U.S.
This is a significant step toward the ultimate goal of ensuring that iPhones sold in the United States of America also are made in America.
But experts tell us that's a, quote, fairy tale that could send costs skyrocketing. By one estimate, manufacturing the iPhone in the U.S. could nearly triple its cost, up to roughly $3,500 per phone. Trump today also announcing a 100% tariff on all chips and semiconductors entering the U.S., a move that could drive up prices for electronics, appliances, and cars. But the president says companies like Apple can be spared.
If you're building in the United States or have committed to build, without question committed to build in the United States, there will be no charge.
And David, at midnight tonight, Trump's new tariffs on nearly every U.S. trading partner go into effect. Experts, though, caution that Americans could face higher prices on everything from electronics and toys to clothing and furniture. By one estimate, it could cost the average American household $2,400 a year. David.
You'll continue to watch it all for us, as you always do. Mary Bruce tonight. Mary, thank you. Overseas in Japan tonight, ceremonies marking the 80th anniversary of the U.S. atomic bombing of Hiroshima. All these years later, there were still some survivors at hand at Hiroshima's Peace Memorial Park today. The world's first nuclear weapon killed 140,000 people. A second bomb on Nagasaki killed 70,000 more. Japan surrendered days later, ending World War II. When we come back here tonight, there's been a chilling arrest at the airport in West Palm Beach, Florida. Authorities say a man with a loaded AR-15 style rifle in his car. Also, thousands evacuated after discovering an unexploded World War II bomb. And the news tonight on Brad Pitt's mother, often seen by his side on the red carpet. Tonight, the family revealing she's died, paying tribute, and what they're saying now about his mother, Jane. Tonight in Florida, an alarming arrest at the airport in West Palm Beach. Authorities responding to a call of a suspicious person in a restricted area. They allegedly found a loaded AR-15 style rifle, ammunition, and multiple knives in his car. He's facing several charges tonight, including weapons possession. Overseas tonight, the discovery of an unexploded World War II bomb forcing evacuations in Dresden, Germany. The 550-pound British-made bomb found near a bridge. About 17,000 people were told to clear the area. Authorities defusing the bomb, saying it will be moved to a safe location. When we come back here tonight, remembering a popular actress from The Walking Dead, and the news on Brad Pitt's mom tonight, so often by his side on the red carpet through the years. Tonight, they're paying tribute to his mother, Jane. To the index of other news tonight, we have learned actress Kelly Mack has died after battling glioma, a tumor forming in the brain or spinal cord. Best known for her role in The Walking Dead, her family calling her a light in every room. Kelly Mack was just 33. Tonight, we have also learned that Brad Pitt's mother has died. Pitt and his mother, Jane, were often seen together at red carpet events throughout his acting career. A family member tonight posting a tribute saying, "We were not ready for you to go yet, but knowing you are finally free to sing, dance, and paint again makes it a tad easier." Jane Pitt was 84. A landmark moment for Major League Baseball. For the first time in league history, there will be a woman umpire for a regular season game. Jen Powell will take the field for Saturday's doubleheader between the Marlins and the Braves in Atlanta. She's been working in the minors since 2016. Good luck. A blockbuster deal tonight between ESPN and the NFL. One day before the start of the preseason, ESPN revealing it's acquiring the NFL Network, including the popular Red Zone channel. In exchange, the NFL receives a 10% equity stake in ESPN. Tonight, Disney CEO Bob Iger saying the deal will deliver an even more compelling experience for NFL fans. It all launches August 21st, along with ESPN's new streaming service. Disney, of course, is the parent company of ABC News. When we come back here tonight, the family cheering on mom. They didn't know the camera was still recording, and what was heard. Finally tonight here, the marathon mom and the moment no one knew they captured. Tonight, the mother of four running the marathon and the incredible unfiltered moment of joy captured by her family, even though they didn't realize they were recording. Kayla Coons, a mother of four in Richmond Hill, Georgia, just outside Savannah, has been running since the 7th grade. In fact, her husband, Jeremy, proposed to her at her final cross-country meet in college. For years now, her family has always cheered her on. They're at every race, making signs, biking right alongside her as she's training, encouraging her to keep going. And so when it was time for Mom Kayla to run her latest marathon, the entire family was there. And on mile 25, with just more than a mile to go, her husband Jeremy recording as she runs by. But then he thinks he stops recording on his phone. But just listen in as the phone keeps recording, as the family keeps going.
Can you believe that?
That's her parents, Pam and David, asking, "Can you believe that?"
She is so happy.
Her husband saying she was so happy. That's their 8-year-old son, Harrison, saying she did it. The unvarnished voices of love and pride captured, even though they didn't know the phone was still going. And right here tonight,
hey, David.
Mom and 8-time marathon runner, Kayla.
In life, you don't get to hear what people say about you, really. And in this moment, I heard it. I heard it loud and clear.
Tonight, that mom and her message.
I couldn't have done it without that. You can do anything when you are backed by love and support.
Recording or not, a lot of love for that mom. Congrats. Good night.
Thank you for making World News Tonight with David Muir, America's most watched newscast. David Muir, the most watched newscast in America. And now, ABC's World News Tonight has won the Emmy for Best Live News Program for the third year in a row.